Welcome back. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has come under fire after he was seen enjoying a beer at the footy on the weekend while Victoria battles a major coronavirus outbreak. Some people are questioning whether it's a good look while Victoria cripples with the coronavirus. This is what Premier Dan Andrews had to say about it.
And I have to say, before you give me the footy question, I got better things to worry about than who went to the footy in New South Wales.
So he's not answering that question. Let's get today's Taking This with Shelley Horton from 9 Honey and comedian Vince Sorrenti. Shelley, I mean, I don't know how you felt about this. I personally feel like there are people, I said something yesterday on Twitter, people are like, well, can't he have a day off? Can't he do that? And my answer to that is no. No, this is not a normal job. This is not a normal year. This is not a normal time. I don't think he can.
DC, I'm going to have to disagree with you because I think that so many of our leaders are at the point of burnout and they are going to have to realise that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so if the Prime Minister has a couple of days off to relax, I think that means he's going to be better next week. Now, I am a swing voter, so I'm not aligned to either political party. I think this applies to everyone. Gladys looks exhausted. Dan looks exhausted.
Yes.
I hope
because we're in the middle of the worst pandemic and nobody knows what's going on.
Absolutely.
Why would you take your foot off the brake in that time and go to a football game and drink beer and don't look like you're social distancing and not wear a mask? Why aren't you putting up some values, at least to be empathetic to the people in Victoria?
Well, and also be empathetic to the leaders. I mean, they don't do 9-to-5 jobs. They are absolutely working their tails off. So I think that we actually need to also understand that they're human beings, not robots, and that we need to make sure that they're being looked after for their mental health and their physical health so that they can look after the nation for the rest of this time.
Yeah. But is going to the footy doing that? I mean, he could have stayed at home with his family. But, you know, I'm kind of going both ways. Initially, I was like, yeah, he can go to the footy. But then what bothered me the most was the no social distancing and the no mask. That's not a good look when you're trying to tell everyone else that they need to do this. Vince, you know, many critics are calling the appearance tone deaf. Is it a bad look?
Look, I'm a little bit each way as well. He did say last week, we're all Melburnians now, and Melburnians can't go to the footy, but there's a whole rest of the country that is opening up and is looking to get back to some sense of normality. So there's a message there for them as well. I've sat near the Prime Minister at the footy, and I'm just glad to say I live in a country where the Prime Minister can go to the footy with limited security, sit around and have a beer. I mean, imagine Xi Jinping doing that, or Donald Trump, you know, hey, can you make this team great again? And ScoMo's team got absolutely flogged, so I'm sure he wasn't enjoying himself.
And
yeah, I don't want to get off the point, though, and I'm not bashing the fact that I'm not even trying to suggest that the Prime Minister's not working hard, or that I'm against the Prime Minister. I'm not against the Prime Minister or him working hard, or any of our leaders working hard. But we've come through the two worst crises back-to-back. Bushfires, now this pandemic, and a deep recession. We've got China on our doorstep, and we've got an unstable president in the White House. Yeah, I don't believe in 2020, unless one of those things stops, collectively as a whole in this nation, aside from the bushfire, of course, but like, let's say all the states went back to normal, then I'd be like, of course have a holiday, of course take a break. But that's not the case.
Look, I agree with you wholeheartedly about the bushfires. I think he screwed up there, and he's acknowledged that.
People still don't have money. They still don't have homes from the bushfires.
Yeah,
from the
that's
bushfires.
True. Well, which argument are we having? Are we going to the footy or the bushfires? But look, I'll agree with you. It does not a great look, but for the rest of the country, I'm ambivalent to what he did. I think it's fine. I really do.
All right, well, let us know what you think at home. Maybe I'm the only one here who thinks this way, and I don't mind being that.
Yeah. We were saying earlier, though, too, perhaps if he went there and just had a little, press conference just to say, look, I'm here to support, to show that, the people who work here, we're supporting them, and the country, the football's allowed. But, it's one of those ones that he kind of... I just don't know if it's a good look. Anyway, Shelley and Vince, stay with us. When we come back, calls for young drivers to get a permission slip from their parents before hitting the road. And
neighbours at war, noise complaints soar. But they're not the culprits who you think they are.
Welcome back. Young drivers in the UK may need a note from their parents before getting behind the wheel under plans to cut accidents among under 25s. Parents could impose restrictions such as no driving between midnight and 6 a.m, a limit on driving time, or a ban on having more than one young passenger.
Shelley and Vince are still here to discuss this. Shelley, should we do this here?
Look, I kind of think if you're going to make it a rule and make it law. Don't make it that parents decide. It's just going to lead to massive fights within the families. I think, yes, we have a problem with young drivers having accidents and being reckless. So why don't we recognise that and actually change the law around it rather than make it just something that parents can decide?
Yeah, I mean, Vince, are kids going to listen to their parents anyway at that age?
This is completely ridiculous. We make it so hard right now for kids to get their licence. I know my daughter's just got her licence 3 days ago. I mean, there's...
How many hours is it now, Vince?
120 hours, log books, stand on one leg for 4 hours, 3 years of Ps. I mean, permission from your parents. I mean, you're an adult, you're driving a car, drive the car. Imagine getting pulled over by a cop saying, oh, look, I've got a note from my mum. I had to be home by 10 o'clock, that's why I'm speeding. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It's
not a
Yeah, we're not. Well, Maddie just turned 14, so I'm only a couple of years away from it. But 100 hours.
You have to 120 hours.
120 hours. It's a joke. It really is. It's so time-consuming for the parents too.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens there. What do you think about that at home? But quickly, animal noise complaints to local councils have increased by 10% in the last 2 years. But it's not dogs. It's apparently frog mating calls. Goats, gobbling turkeys are among the animal noises infuriating Adelaide residences. Frogs, roosters, goats, Vince. That's what's keeping Adelaide up at night. They all live on a farm now.
We are covering the big issues today. We really are. And, it's tax time. You're there, you're filling out your income tax return, and, you've got a goat and a rooster and a gobbling turkey. I mean, this is one of the... This is a fun story for COVID-19 times, and this is bound to happen. A lot of people sitting at home these days doing work from home, and I'd like to give a shout out to people who've really been affected by this at-home time. House burglars. I mean, these people are doing it tough right now. Everyone's home, you buzz, sorry, move on. Tough times.
The fact they're buzzing.
Maybe they're the ones with the noises, to try and get them out of the house to go investigate. Shelley, you've got 2 dogs. I mean, do they bark? Do they annoy your neighbours?
I am very, very aware of our dogs and make sure that they don't bark. So much so that our rescue chihuahua is a bit of a barker when we're not home, and she wears a citronella collar, which doesn't hurt her, but sprays citronella, which she doesn't like. And we have puppy cam at home, so we have a video so we can see if they're barking. And when she wears the collar, she does not bark. If we forget to put it on, she barks. So I think you need to be a responsible pet owner and make sure that you're not upsetting your neighbours, because I don't want the privilege of having dogs in apartment buildings taken away from us. So whether it is turkeys or frogs or whatever, be a responsible pet owner.
Well, there you go. So, get your frogs in order.
Get your frogs in.
Get your frogs in
order.
And your turkeys.
They're your turkeys. Don't be a turkey.
Don't be gobble time, everybody. All right, go on to Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think. Vince and Shelley, great to see you. Happy Monday.
Thanks, guys. Coming up on Today Extra, the return to...